Hello everyone, Monisha here. In this session, we are going to learn about heterotrophic nutrition. So those plants and animals which depend on other animals or plants for the requirement of their food. So those type of nutrition is considered as heterotrophic nutrition. So in this session, we are completely going to describe about heterotrophic nutrition, about plants and animals in detail. Let us start the session. Let us know about heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. So what is heterotrophic nutrition? We know that green plants have chlorophyll, but these are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. So they cannot synthesize their food. Now you will wonder, how would such plants survive? We know that heterotrophs, namely humans and animals, depend on plants for their food. Similarly, plants without chlorophyll also depend on food produced by other plants. This is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. For example, Cuscuta plant, also called as Amoeba, since this plant doesn't have chlorophyll, it climbs onto other plant and takes on the ready-made food from it. The plant on which it climbs is called as the host. So we can say that the organism whose essential nutrients are deprived by another organism, such as a parasite, is called a host. Since this plant deprives the host of its valuable nutrients, it is called as a parasite. So, the organism which obtains nutrients from another organism by depriving it of essential nutrients is called a parasite. Note that although humans and animals depend on plants for their food, they are not considered as parasites. This is because they do not deprive the plant of its essential nutrients. However, the mosquitoes, bedbugs, lice and leeches are parasites because they suck human blood and depend on them for their food. Some green plants like Drosera and Venus flytrap, etc., unable to obtain all the nutrients required to prepare their food from the soil or their surroundings. In such cases, these plants develop features which help them survive. They can trap insects and digest them. Plants which trap and feed on insects are called as insectivorous plant. For example, picture plant. Let us study the parts of this plant. The leaf of this plant is modified in the shape of a pitcher. The apex of the leaf forms the lid. So that is considered as a lid. The function of the leaf is to open and close the mouth of the pitcher. Inside the pitcher, there are hairs that are directed downwards. Now let us see how this plant traps insect. When an insect lands in the pitcher, its lid closes. Thus, the insect gets trapped and entangled in their hair. The pitcher plant digests the trapped insect by secreting digestive juices. Thus, insectivorous plants are partially heterotrophs. These plants, also called insect-eating plants, grow in soil which has less nutrients. So, they feed on animals like insects to fulfill their nutrient requirement. So, these are about heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. How do organisms obtain their nutrition? Since the food and the way it is obtained is different in different animals, the digestive system is different in various organisms. In single-celled organisms like amoeba, the food may be taken in by the entire surface of its body. But as the complexity of the organism increases, like human beings, different parts become specialized to perform different functions. Here first we have to know how a single cell organism like amoeba gets its nutrition by the following video. Now let us know nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba eats microscopic plants and animals which float in water. This mode of nutrition is called as holozoic nutrition. In amoeba, nutrition is carried out in 5 different steps, just like all other animals. It is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. First, ingestion. When a food particle comes near amoeba, it ingests this food particle by using pseudopodia around it. Next is digestion. The food is digested in the food vacuole by digestive enzymes. Third is absorption. The digested food present in the food vacuole is directly absorbed into the cytoplasm of the amoeba by a process called diffusion. Next is assimilation. Food absorbed by amoeba is used to obtain energy for maintaining life processes, just like human beings. And last it is egestion. When a sufficient amount of undigested food collects inside the amoeba, then the cell membrane suddenly ruptures in any place of its body and the undigested food is thrown out of the body of the amoeba, just like waste materials. In amoeba, the digestion occurs within the cell. This type of digestion is called intracellular digestion. Now let us know about nutrition in human beings. Human beings are omnivorous in nutrition. That is, they take both plant food and animal food. The nutrition in human beings takes place through human digestive system. The human digestive system consists of organs such as mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. These organs together form the alimentary canal. Human digestive system also contains glands such as salivary glands and liver and pancreas. Nutrition in human being include various steps. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. We will now describe the various types of nutrition in human beings. The first one, the ingestion. The human beings have the special organ for the ingestion of food. It is called mouth. It is bounded by upper lip and lower lip. The food is put into the mouth with the help of hands. The second one is digestion. The digestion of food starts as soon as we consume food in our mouth. This happens as follows. The mouth cavity or buccal cavity contains teeth, tongue and salivary glands. The teeth cut the food into small pieces, chew and grind it. So, teeth helps in physical digestion. Salivary glands present inside our mouth produces saliva which mixes with the food while it is being chewed. The saliva contains an amylase enzyme which digests the starch present in food into sugar called glucose. Tongue helps in mixing the food with saliva and pushes the food during swallowing. The slightly digested food in the mouth is swallowed by the tongue into a common passage for both respiratory and digestive tracts, that is pharynx. When food enter into pharynx, the muscles of the pharynx contract to push the food into the esophagus or food pipe. At the time, the valve called epiglottis, covering the windpipe, closes. This prevents the food from entering the respiratory tract. From pharynx, the food is gulped down into a tube-like structure called esophagus. The esophagus is lined with muscles that contract and relax rhythmically. This pushes the food forward, and this is called peristalsis. Peristalsis occurs all along the gut. The epithelial cells of the esophagus also secrete mucus, which lubricates the food. This also helps in the food forward. The peristaltic movement of the esophagus pushes the food into the stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped organ present in the left side of the abdomen. The food entered is being churned inside the stomach for about 3 hours. During this time, the food breaks down into still smaller pieces and forms a semi-solid paste. The stomach walls contain tubular glands and its walls. The glands present in the wall of the stomach secrete gastric juice. The gastric juice contains 3 substances: hydrochloric acid, the enzyme pepsin, and the mucus. Hydrochloric acid provides anesthetic environment for the action of enzyme pepsin. The enzyme pepsin begins the digestion of protein present in the food to form smaller molecules. Thus, the protein digestion begins in the stomach. Next, the mucus provides the protection to the inner lining of the stomach from the action of acid under normal condition. The partially digested food then goes from stomach into the small intestine. This is regulated by sphincter muscle, which releases food in small amounts into small intestine. Small intestine is the longest part in the alimentary canal and is about 6.5 meter long. In an adult man, which is arranged in the form of coil in our belly. Small intestine helps in the digestion and absorption of nutrients. The small intestine receives the secretion of 2 glands, that is liver and pancreas. Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice into the small intestine. Pancreatic juice contain enzymes such as trypsin and lipase. Trypsin breaks down protein and lipase break down fat. Next is liver. The liver secretes bile juice, which is a greenish yellow liquid. It is stored in the gallbladder. Bile helps breaking fats present in the food. The walls of the small intestine contains glands which secrete intestinal juice. The intestinal juice contains a number of enzymes which helps in further digestion of food. In this way, the food is completely digested in the small intestine. Now, let us move to the next section, that is absorption. Till now, we have studied about digestion in the small intestine. Next, we will understand how absorption takes place in the small intestine. The small intestine is the main region for the absorption of digested food. After digestion, the molecules of the food become very small and it is pushed ahead in the small intestine by contraction and relaxation of the muscle. The inner surface of the small intestine has millions of tiny finger-like projection called as villi. The digested food is absorbed by the villi. Now let us take a closer view of one villi. The villi are in close contact with the blood vessels. The food present in the villi is absorbed by the blood. Next, we shall know about assimilation. From the blood, digested food is carried to all parts of the body. The digested food is used by the cells for obtaining energy and for the growth and for the repair of the body. The digested food which is not used by our body immediately stored in the liver in the form of a carbohydrate called glycogen. This stored glycogen can be used as a source of energy by the body as and when required. The next is Ingestion. A part of food which we eat cannot be digested by our body. The undigested food cannot be absorbed in the small intestine. So, undigested food passes from small intestine into a wider tube called as large intestine. As it moves along the large intestine, the villi within it absorbs the water so that the undigested food becomes almost solid. The last part of the large intestine is called the rectum. It stores this undigested food for some time. Then it is thrown out of the anus. So this act of expelling the feces is called as egestion. So this is the detailed explanation of nutrition in human beings. At the starting, when food inserted into our mouth, then the unwanted waste go out of our body. So this will be a detailed explanation. So in this video, I have explained heterotopic nutrition, how the nutrition takes place in amoeba, in single cell organism, and also in multicellular organism like human beings, that is nutrition in human beings. If you have any doubts pertaining to this particular topic, please comment me on the comment section. Thank you for your patience.